For years the world has known him as Tyrus, the towering Fox News personality with the booming laugh, sharp one-liners and unmistakable presence. But recently one unexpected public appearance sent fans into a frenzy. Cameras caught Tyrus stepping out alongside a woman many didn't even realize was his wife. And the reaction was instant shock. Whoosh! Where did she come from? And why does their story feel so different from what people assumed? Stay tuned to find out. George Timothy Murdoch, known to the world as Tyrus, was born in Boston on February 21, 1973. To understand who he became, you have to start with the world he entered. His parents were still kids themselves. His mother was only 15. His father was 19. And the home they created was built on fear instead of safety. Violence was part of everyday life. His father was abusive toward his mother, and it didn't take long before that abuse reached Tyrus too. One blow was so severe it left permanent swelling in his eye. That moment became the line his mother could no longer ignore. It was the breaking point that pushed her to leave. Those early years were heavy and dangerous. Tyrus was the oldest child in what was at the time an illegal biracial marriage. The violence was constant, and one incident was so extreme that his father tried to throw him out of a high-rise window. Escaping that environment didn't mean safety though. When his mother returned to her family home, she was told she could stay, both her sons could not because their father was black. So Tyrus and his brother were sent into foster care. That separation cut deep. As a child, Tyrus became fixated on the idea that changing his skin color was the only way back home. The pain of that thought stayed with him. Eventually, the brothers reunited with their mother in Los Angeles. She worked endlessly, sometimes 80 hours a week, doing whatever she could to survive. That meant they moved constantly, never staying anywhere long enough to feel settled. Stability never had time to grow. Then another source of violence entered his life. His stepfather was volatile and one attack left Tyrus without his front teeth at just 13 years old. By 16 he had reached his limit. After fighting back one final time, he packed his belongings into a trash bag and walked away for good. Had drifted between friends, coaches, and wherever he could find shelter. Some nights he even hid in the school locker room just to sleep. He didn't ask for help. He just endured. The one thing that never changed was football. It became his anchor. The field gave him structure when nothing else did. It gave him mentors, discipline, and a sense of belonging. It gave him something to work toward and something bigger than himself to be part of. On the field, nothing was given. Everything had to be earned. That lesson changed his life. Football didn't just give him a future. It gave him a way out. It gave him purpose. And in the middle of all that chaos, it gave him area sun to survive. After high school, Murdoch took his next step at Antelope Valley College in California. On the field, he was impossible to miss. He dominated as an offensive lineman, earned all conference honors, and quickly became known for his size and raw physical style of play. That presence caught the attention of coaches from the University of Nebraska-Kearney who invited him out for spring ball. At first, he wasn't sure about a Division II school. It didn't sound glamorous, but once he arrived, that doubt faded fast. The facilities were just as strong as anything he had seen at bigger programs, and the environment felt right. What started as a backup plan ended up becoming one of the most important choices of his life. Murdoch spent 2 seasons with the Lopers, anchoring a massive offensive line that averaged over 300 pounds per player. The 1994 team went 83, and one hard-fought 13-12 win over Nebraska-Omaha stayed etched in his memory. Still, what mattered more than wins were their relationships. Coaches like Claire Boroff, Daryl Morris, and Scott Hoffman became real mentors. They taught him accountability, discipline, and what it meant to stand on his word. For the first time he felt like he was being shaped, not just trained. After college he chased the dream. He played arena football, went to NFL tryouts, and pushed as far as he could. At the same time he made sure to finish what Hester did academically. In 1998, he completed his degree in physical education at UNK. Even though couldn't afford to attend his own graduation ceremony, pride kept him from asking for help, even when help would have been there. When injuries closed the door on football, Murdoch shifted into survival mode. He worked as a substitute teacher by day and a nightclub bouncer by night. At one point he even worked security as a bodyguard for Snoop Dogg. Then something strange happened. While breaking up a fight in a club, he turned the moment into an almost theatrical performance, calmly neutralizing 2 men at once while joking through it. A pro wrestler in the room saw it and immediately recognized the potential. That moment led Murdoch into professional wrestling. By 2006, he debuted in WWE as Bruce Clay. In 2014 he moved to Impact Wrestling and became Tyrus, the name that would define the next chapter of his career. From there, his life took an unexpected detour into media. What started as playful back and forth online with Greg Goodfeld turned into an invitation to Fox News, and before long he was a regular face on Goodfeld by 2016. His humor, steady presence, and anything but ordinary life story made him an easy fit. Between 2018 and 2019, he even co-hosted UNPC. But just when things finally seemed to settle, the story took a sudden and uncomfortable turn. In April 2019, viewers of Fox Nation's UNPC noticed something odd. Tyrus quietly disappeared from the show without a word of explanation. No farewell, no on-air clarification. Tom Shilowy stepped in beside Britt McHenry. And for a moment, the network's silence seemed to suggest a routine programming change. But that calm didn't last long. By June, reporting from the Daily Beast began to fill in the blanks. According to the outlet, Tyrus's exit followed a formal complaint filed by McHenry herself. While he moved on to host his own program, Nuff said details of what had allegedly been happening behind the scenes slowly began to emerge. Sources described a personal dispute between the two co-hosts, one serious enough that Fox News chose to separate them rather than address it publicly. As was typical, the network declined to comment on internal matters. But the situation didn't end there. McHenry soon escalated the issue beyond internal channels. In June 2019 she officially filed a lawsuit against Fox News. The filing came roughly 4 months after sources had first told the Daily Beast that Tyrus had allegedly sent her unwanted and unsolicited text messages containing remarks while they worked together. According to McHenry, the messages were only part of the problem. She claimed that after she rejected his advances, her workplace became hostile almost immediately. She alleged the behavior began shortly after they started co-hosting NPC and steadily intensified over time. The lawsuit described an alleged pattern of messages sent between October and December of 2018. McHenry claimed the text became increasingly explicit and aggressive, including threats to send graphic images. She also alleged that the behavior spilled over into the workplace, creating an environment she described as volatile and unpredictable. Court documents painted a picture of sharp mood swings, angry outbursts, and repeated inappropriate communications. McHenry alleged that the tone of the messages shifted rapidly, moving from flirtation to hostility within days. After a work-related dinner, she claimed Tyrus drank heavily and behaved in an aggressive and overtly sexual manner toward her. Despite the seriousness of the allegations, Fox News commissioned 2 outside law firms to investigate. According to the network, neither investigation substantiated McHenry's claims. Both she and Tyrus remained employed by Fox Nation, though changes were made. McHenry was assigned a new co-host, while Tyrus was removed from NPC and given his own interview-based series that often kept him away from Fox News studios. Eventually, Fox News released a formal statement. The network said it could not discuss employee matters, but emphasized that strict protocols were followed, independent investigators were brought in, and the situation was considered resolved. McHenry publicly pushed back. Shortly after the story broke, she posted on social media suggesting she had proof to support her claims. The message was later deleted. Not long after the Daily Beast reported on the allegations and Tyrus's removal from NPC, he reappeared in Fox News programming. He joined Dana Perino on the Daily Briefing where the discussion focused on criminal justice reform and second chances for former prisoners. To some viewers, his comments about redemption and fresh starts felt personal, even if the segment stayed on topic. The appearance ended on a friendly note, highlighting charitable work they supported together. Behind the scenes, the conflict continued to deepen. In October, McHenry filed a confidential complaint with the New York State Division of Human Rights against both Tyrus and Fox News. The network responded by standing firmly behind its prior investigations, calling the lawsuit a repetition of claims it had already addressed. Fox News made it clear it expected the case to be dismissed and expressed confidence that its actions would be upheld in court. The network reiterated that it had taken the allegations seriously and relied on independent legal reviews. The lawsuit, however, challenged that narrative. McHenry argued that Fox News' public claims of zero tolerance for harassment were misleading. She alleged that after raising concerns multiple times, she was isolated, excluded from events, denied opportunities, and barred from appearing in Fox News Channel programs. According to the suit, the only zero tolerance shown was toward the woman who spoke up. The court filings also questioned the integrity of the investigation itself. McHenry alleged that investigators faulted her for not producing certain text messages. messages the lawsuit claimed were fabricated and supported by altered images. She maintained those images were not of her and could bet race to unrelated online sources. In December 2019, McHenry formally sued Fox News in federal court in Manhattan. The lawsuit named not only the network, but also senior executives and George Murdoch, better known as Tyrus. She described the fallout as devastating, claiming her career was derailed, her reputation damaged, and her professional opportunities severely limited. While McHenry said she was sidelined to the streaming platform, she alleged that her former co-host was rewarded with his own show. Murdoch's legal team strongly denied every allegation. His attorney stated that Tyrus planned to defend himself vigorously and accused the media of running a smear campaign, signaling possible defamation counterclaims. Fox News echoed that defense, repeating that the claims had already been reviewed by the New York State Division of Human Rights and fully investigated. The network said it expected the lawsuit be dismissed in its entirety. The case took another troubling turn when McHenry alleged that even the investigative process was tainted. She claimed an investigator made inappropriate comments about her appearance and suggested she had led Murdoch on. Murdoch's attorney dismissed those claims as well, saying his client welcomed a public court proceeding to clear his name. In July 2021, the legal battle came to an end. Fox News settled the lawsuit with McHenry. While the terms were not made public, the network stated it remained confident it would have prevailed, but chose to resolve the matter without further litigation. Murdoch's attorney emphasized that the claims were dismissed with prejudice and that Tyrus made no financial payment, reiterating his denial of all allegations. McHenry in her own statement said she was proud to have stood up for herself and hoped her actions empowered other women. While she maintained the truth of her claims, she said she was ready to move forward. According to reports, the settlement meant McHenry had to step away from Fox News and Fox Nation. But she didn't vanish from TV. Instead, she kept working as an analyst at Fox 5 in Washington, D.C. And while the legal drama slowly faded from the headlines, a different story was unfolding behind the scenes. In January 2024, Tyrus quietly married his longtime partner, Ingrid Rink Herbert. He's always talked about discipline and fitness, but people close to him say his real anchor has always been Ingrid. Their story didn't start with fanfare. It began in the fall of 2014 during a random everyday moment on the busy streets of New Jersey. No rush, no spotlight, just casual coffee dates that slowly turned into something solid and lasting. What started small grew into a deep partnership that stretched across an entire decade. As the years passed, their lives blended so seamlessly that friends and family often assumed they were already married. The couple rarely corrected anyone, choosing instead to move at their own pace. Titles mattered far less to them than the life they were building together. That approach didn't change even when the world did. In April 2020, during a time when uncertainty defined daily life, Murdoch proposed in an intimate private moment. The engagement ring reflected their relationship perfectly, a deep green emerald chosen for its individuality rather than tradition. They stayed engaged longer than most, but that felt intentional. Instead of rushing toward a ceremony, they focused on planning a future. That vision eventually pointed them north toward open land and a slower pace of life in northern New Jersey. On January 6, 2024, they officially married. The moment was meaningful but understated, handled with the same grounded practicality that had shaped their relationship from the start. It felt less like a dramatic shift and more like a natural continuation. By spring, they took on their biggest project yet, settling into a farm property in northern New Jersey. The move wasn't just about space or scenery. It was the physical realization of years of shared planning, patience, and intention. Behind that new life is Ingrid Murdoch's own remarkable journey. Her passion for health began in her teens and grew into a 25-year career as a personal trainer. She later founded the Rink Routine and Sensible Meals. Business is rooted in her belief that daily habits shape long-term outcomes. Her commitment to wellness is deeply personal. Ingrid lost 150 pounds through consistent nutrition and exercise. And her approach shifted even further when her son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. She began preparing portion-controlled meals to help him manage his condition. And even learned techniques online to improve the animal's environment, including piping in storm sounds to encourage breeding. While she jokes that she delegates rather than does the physical labor herself, the system works. The kids all have roles. Their daughter Georgie handles the hands-on bonding with the animals. Rhett takes care of the heavy and messy work. His girlfriend Julia keeps the enclosures clean and organized. Ingrid oversees it all, unapologetically running the zoo like a manager who expects results. Murdoch has said the transformation has been incredible and that having Ingrid take control brought calm, order, and balance into his